Yeah, so there was loads of things I missed in the previous video, but that's understandable. It was very kind of impromptu. Um, so just to recap, yeah. When we talk about the Matrix, what are we talking about? We're talking about this reality, this interconnected collective consciousness that everybody is experiencing. Yeah? And we're assuming this because our societal makeup has basically been used as an analogy for the Matrix. So it may be that within this program there are other matrices or matrices or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So we're not privy to that information. But what we do know is that it's highly possible, yeah, that what is happening inside, or rather the lives of the people inside the pods are not dependent on their existence or the you know the attributes of their persona within the Matrix. Obviously they need to be alive, right? If they die in the Matrix, they die in the real world, right? So yeah, so there's also something in that then. So when we say the Matrix, we're talking about that place. But for example, that you know, so here, let's just kind of let's be subject to the right. So let's be subject to the writer, and let's just make the movie real for the time being. So this is the Matrix, and whenever they, you know, like, I don't know what the terminology is they use in the movie, but once they get connected, this is where they appear, right, in whatever's happening, because ultimately that's what Morpheus says to Neo when they're sitting down. He's like, what's real? Real is just a couple of chemical impulses. So, you know, when you've got your eyes closed and you can't see anything, it doesn't necessarily mean, well, this is, I guess, an open debate, but if you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. Well, this is it's taken the question from a different angle. This is not, if you can't see it, is it not there? This is, if you can't see it, what else can you see in its place? And that's what the Matrix is. It's that there is this other image that's been put in place of whatever we would be seeing if we used our eyes and weren't in those pods, and so on and so forth. Anyway, back to the point. So that's here, right? But for example, when they find the place that they need to go to get, so Neo can use the key to go to see the architect, and they need to do the whole power, you know, thing. They need to cut out the power for the sea and all this stuff because of the energy consumption. There are certain corridors that they go to, right? He goes with the kung fu guy, takes him and the key maker through these corridors. Those corridors don't really exist in our reality. Yeah. Now, whether or not a human that is not in the Matrix would be able to go through them, I don't know, because everyone that's been through them is someone who has hooked up to the Matrix through one of those slots, is a machine code like Agent Smith, or is some other kind of program either running rogue or so whatever. Do you know what I mean? So there's a whole idea that there's a place that exists for us, but then for the machines there's almost a virtual place. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but it's almost, I remember when some of the people that died in the corridor looked like police afterwards, or maybe is that a different scene? I don't know. But like when Neo was fighting the Smiths, yeah, those Smiths are actual people. You know, it's not as if, well, they're people in pods that Smith is taking over the persona of and is like a parasite living off their existence, yeah, and not giving them any choice. Well, is there any choice in the situation? You see, this is what kind of came up in the previous video. I still don't understand. And maybe this is the biological, neurological, you know, epigenetic, maybe. Who knows how, if there's any validity to this, but if there was some instinctual mechanism that was what could not be accounted for by the mathematical harmony. The architect talks about the what did he say, a perfect symmetry of mathematical harmony or something like that. Anyway, so there are corridors that aren't real. Maybe, who, again, like, this is a question. Are these corridors real? And I guess they've got to be real because, like I said, Smith is using the existence within the matrix of the people in the pod. So when they die, when the Smith dies, I guess it just turns back into one of the other dudes or the people that died, right? Okay, I've answered my own question. I don't remember seeing that after Smith got woke. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that was it. Okay, the other thing was something that I missed. We see the architect at the beginning of the movie. Now, I don't know if we see the architect, but there's a reference to the architect with the room with the screens. Now, that's also kind of got me thinking. Yeah, we don't see the architect in the first movie anyway. He's in he's in the later ones. I said later ones because I couldn't remember if it was in 2 or 3. Most likely 2, right? Yeah. Or is it 2? I don't know right now at this time of night. I don't know, but I'm trying very hard to keep this going so that I don't have to edit it. Yeah. What is the connection of seeing the rooms with the screens, the beginning of the movie, when we see Agent Smith and at that time Mr. Anderson in the room? You know, what is what was that? Anyway, these are just questions. Yeah.